The name of this presentation is Suzanne Collins, and I am Brittany Holloway. Suzanne's early years. She was born on August 10, 1962 in Hartford, Connecticut. She was the youngest of 4 children. Her father was an Air Force officer. This made Suzanne move a lot as she grew up due to his occupation. Family and early influences. Her father thought that teaching his children history was very important. A quote by her says, "I believe he felt a great responsibility and urgency about educating his children about war." Collins says, "He would take us frequently to places like battlefields and war monuments. It would start back with whatever had precipitated the war and moved up through the battlefield you were standing in, and through that and after that. It was a very comprehensive tour guide experience. So throughout our lives, we basically heard about war." Her education. Suzanne graduated at high school from the Alabama School of Fine Arts in 1980. After graduating high school, she attended Indiana University, where she graduated in 1985 as a double major in theater and telecommunications. Following this, Suzanne earned her master's degree in dramatic writing from New York University. Her early career. Upon graduating and receiving her master's degree, she began writing for children's television series. 2 of these television shows were Clarissa Explains It All and Little Bear. Her work received the attention of James Primos, who hired Suzanne as his head writer for Generation O. He was one of the main individuals who encouraged Suzanne to begin writing books. The Underland Chronicles. It was in 2003 that Suzanne published her first book, Gregor the Overlander, the first book of the Underland Chronicles. The book was about a young boy who discovers a different world when he falls through a grate in the laundry room in the apartment building that he lives in with his family in the city of New York. The story was inspired by the book Alice in Wonderland. It has been sold in 21 foreign territories. The book went on to be a success as it was one of the New York Times bestsellers. She wrote a total of 5 of these books. The Hunger Games trilogy. Her next book made Suzanne a household name. The Hunger Games was published in 2008, and the 2 sequels, Catching Fire and Mockingjay, were published in 2009 and 2010. The Hunger Games is about the life of Katniss Everdeen, a poor girl living in District 12 of Panem, formerly known as North America. Within the story, Katniss volunteers to be one of the tributes in the Hunger Games to keep her sister safe. The Hunger Games is an annual event where tributes are chosen to fight to the death within an arena or dome. The story has many themes, including love, but it also reflects on Suzanne's views regarding war. The Hunger Games has been on the New York Times bestseller list since it was published in 2008. This means that the book has been on the bestseller list for almost 6 years. It has also been on the US Today and Publisher Weekly bestseller list. The book has been sold in 51 languages and 56 territories. Approximately more than 50 million copies of the series have been sold. Suzanne was on the Time 100 list and the Entertainment Weekly Entertainers of the Year list. Suzanne's views as it pertained to war were reflected upon within her books. The Hunger Games and her other books touched on the very subjects, necessary and unnecessary wars, that her own father had often discussed with her. If we introduce kids to these ideas earlier, we could get a dialogue about war going earlier, and possibly it would lead to more solutions, she says. "I just feel it isn't discussed, not the way it should be. I think that's because it's uncomfortable for people. It's not pleasant to talk about. I know from my experience that we are quite capable of understanding things and processing them at early stages." Film adaptations of the series. The Hunger Games movie was released by Lionsgate on March 23, 2012. The movie was the 14th highest-grossing North American release of all time. It produced around $700 million at the box office worldwide. The second movie was based on the second book of the series, and 2 other movies will be released about the third book in the series. Her present life. Suzanne is currently married to Cat Pryor, who is an actor. The couple have 2 children together. They live in Connecticut, and she is currently 51 years old. On this slide, I have included some quotes by Suzanne, such as, "I do not write about adolescence. I write about war, for adolescents." Another, "The cast, led by the extraordinary Jennifer Lawrence, is absolutely wonderful across the board. It's such a pleasure to see how they embodied the character and brought them to life." Another, "The film opens up the world beyond Katniss' point of view, allowing the audience access to the happenings of a place like the Hunger Games control room and President Snow's Rose Garden, thereby adding a new dimension to the story." And these are my references.